Welcome to Sleek Notes E-Commerce Boost Podcast, your chance to learn from the e-commerce experts so you can boost your business.
Hi there, this is E-Commerce Boost, and today you'll learn the best SEO practices from the all-time SEO expert Andy Crestodina, who's the co-founder and strategic director of Orbit Media. In this interview, Andy will share his best tips for smashing your competitors in SEO. He tells you what things you must do to rank higher. And finally, he goes pro and teaches you about semantic SEO. Are you ready? So, Andy, thank you so much for coming on the show. I'm really excited to have you here.
I'm glad to be here. Thanks, Julie.
So maybe we should just start out with sort of like an easy question, which is how can e-commerce stores do SEO?
Well, SEO is a matter of sort of reverse engineering demand from the search engine. So it all comes down to people who are looking for your products are searching for what? And when you ask that question first, you realize that the page on your site that might be the most relevant in search might be the product category page. It's very common. So basically, to do well in search as an e-commerce site, you need a search optimized product catalog, but it might not just be the product detail pages that rank. It might very well be the product category pages. So let's say we're doing like a pet website and we have all different kinds of dog leashes, and we have red dog leashes and blue dog leashes and sparkly and every kind of product variety. The visitor who comes to the website very well may just be searching for dog leash, or the more general term, in which case we're trying to make search optimized product category pages.
Okay, sure. So I was wondering, is it possible to rank well if you don't do content marketing? Because you were just talking about product pages.
Yeah. So basically there's two kinds of pages on our websites. Some of the content marketing content is where we share helpful stuff and we publish useful articles, and it's the blogs and things like that. And those pages, of course, may rank, but when they rank for the helpful phrases. We call these informational queries. Like I call them question mark phrases, like how to train your dog, dog walking tips, people searching for just useful information. But it's the product catalog that ranks for the money phrases. I call these the $ phrases, which might be like dog leash, or I'm not sure why I'm using pets as an example. We could use anything, Julie, but yeah, dog leashes or watering bowls or flea collars, or all of the product related phrases. So every key phrase that everyone searches for on the internet, it's basically either an informational query or a commercial intent query. It's a question mark or a $. Now, the key to content marketing is that, sure, you might rank for dog walking tips, but it's those pages that tend to get linked to by other bloggers. It's those pages that tend to get linked to by journalists. Those pages that improve the link popularity of your website, and that makes you more likely to rank for the $ phrases. It's kind of an indirect benefit. SEO is partly about increasing your authority, as in getting other sites to link to you, and people don't usually link to product catalogs. That's one of the very powerful reasons that it's helpful to have a content marketing plan.
Yeah, okay. So having content that sort of supports and strengthens your product pages at the same time.
It does. It increases the authority of your entire domain. That's why it's called domain authority. And that makes all the pages on the website, including the product pages, more likely to rank.
Cool. So you obviously have to find out what people are searching for. But how do you do that? How do you identify the right key phrase or word?
I love this question because there are so many places to find out what people are searching for, what people want, what people are hoping to find on your website. I think the first most obvious place is if your site is a little search tool. Set up the report and analytics that will show you what your visitors on your own website, your current visitors, what they're searching for. It's called the Site Search Report in Google Analytics, and it actually will show you what people are trying to find now. And you may find immediately that you have gaps and that people are looking for something that you don't have. And that'll give you ideas for what to add. We have a client that sells locks, and we found out that visitors to the website are trying to find safes. And they didn't have that. So it was an idea to make a page or at least talk about it somehow. Another source is just by using Google's search tool. It suggests things as you type. So if you begin typing any key phrase into Google, it will suggest other phrases that people are searching for.
Okay, so that gives you an indication of what people are actually looking for.
So if I just search for which dogs, Google suggests to me which dogs live the longest, which dogs shed the most, which dogs don't shed, which dogs bite the most. See, these are all topics that we could write about in our content marketing and rank for, or attract visitors or attract links. So that's there's a million little ways, and I could share lists of resources and all kinds of tools to help you understand what your audience might be looking for. There's clues everywhere.
Coming up, can you rank for all keywords or phrases? Andy gives you his best advice on choosing the right phrases, and also she has amazing tools to help you do that.
Well, when it comes down to it, we have to have a certain amount of credibility, or I just called it a minute ago, I called it authority, to be able to have a chance of ranking for certain phrases. So some phrases you need a lot of authority to rank for. Other phrases, they're not that much competition, and almost anyone can rank for them. So generally speaking, the longer and more specific the key phrase, the fewer people searching for it, but the easier it is to rank for it. So if you have a young website, you're not famous, an unknown brand, you can rank if you just target and create pages or products or articles about 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 word phrases. Sure, it might be less popular phrase, but it's much, much easier to rank and get that trickle of traffic much faster. So depending on how famous we are, we might need to target the much longer key phrases.
Okay, and where can you check out domain ranking for your competitors?
So Google has their own kind of secret number for this. It's a scale of 1 to 10. It's called PageRank, and they don't tell us this number anymore.
Oh.
So we have to use other tools that estimate this number for us, and there's lots of tools that do it. Ahref calls it domain rating. SEMrush calls it domain score, I think. But the one I use is Moz, and Moz has a tool called Open Site Explorer. Their metric is called domain authority. So go to opensiteexplorer.com, enter your own site, you'll see your domain authority. It's a scale of 1 to 100. Now the test is, are the other sites who rank for that phrase in the same range as us, or are they much higher than us? If they're much higher, we need to target a more specific, less popular phrase. To see all the domain authorities of all the sites that rank high for any phrase, install a tool on your browser called Mozbar, Mozbar, it's a Chrome extension. And now turn that on and you can see the domain authority of all the high-ranking pages. If you're in the same range, you've got a chance. Make a great page on the topic. If all the pages are higher than yours, it might be obvious. If all the pages are famous brands who rank for that phrase, then you probably don't have a chance, and you should try something else, or maybe a different phrase.
Next, can you trick Google? To answer that question, Andy does a thought experiment and also find out what you should include in your content to make it rank higher.
The goal ultimately is to make one of the best pages on the internet for the topic. So when people look for all kinds of little tricks to try to convince Google that they're good, I encourage them to first just genuinely be good and make a page that anybody who looked at it would agree. So let's say we could even do it this way. Anyone listening to this podcast, just pretend that Julie is Google and make a page and then try to convince Julie, our host here, that you made a great page. How would you convince her? When you finish the page, you say, hey, look, Julie, this page is super detailed. This page answers every question related to the topic. This page has 2,000 words and 10 images and 5 contributor quotes and 4 statistics. Julie, I made an awesome page on this topic. I even put a video on it, and I've got 10 other pages on my website that link to this page. And there's 2 other bloggers and other websites that link to this page. I've really made something great. So anyone listening, if you can convince an imaginary person who as if they're Google, and you objectively, empirically believe that this is really great stuff, then it's likely you're on the right track.
Okay, so there's no quick fix here. It really needs to be the best, doesn't it?
That's the job. If you're not doing that, you're not doing SEO. I mean, Google is just a top 10 list of the best pages on the internet for any topic. So if you don't really believe even yourself that you've made one of the top 10 pages on the internet for your topic, then why would anyone else, including Google, believe that to be true?
Yeah, sure. So you just mentioned a few factors just before, but what factors does make the content great then? You said images, videos, loads of words. Yeah.
Well, obviously, so I'll get more specific now. The target key phrase, which dogs bite the most, should be in the title, in the headline, and in the body text at least a couple of times. That's normal. That's basic SEO. Everyone should probably know that. Now, it's also true that the average high-ranking page in Google is quite long, like 1,500 words. So if I was trying to make the best page on the internet for which dog bites the most, I would probably write a very thorough, detailed article with lots of evidence and statistics and information. Now, the reason we add videos and images in these things, right, formatting and bullet lists and short paragraphs, is because we're trying to send a kind of a hidden signal to Google that people who come from the search engines to this page tend to hang out for a little bit. They don't quickly hit the back button. If you can get visitors who come from Google to hang out because you did make it a beautiful page with images and video and simple, easy to scan formatting, now you're going to send a user interaction signal to Google. That's what they call it.
Yeah.
So if visitors who come to the page spend 5 minutes on average, and your analytics will tell you the average time on page, then you probably did make a great page. Google sees that, of course, right? They know how long visitors spend on your page. And then those visitors are sending a positive signal, like another mini vote, to Google that this is a great page. So that's why we make content that is great for visitors. One other reason make it great for visitors is to increase the average time on the page. That is a user interaction signal, which is a search ranking factor.
Does it have any effect whether or not you link to other pages from that specific blog post?
It's a great question. It does not matter. I've never seen evidence suggesting that it does matter, but it does matter who's linking to the page. Linking from your page to another page doesn't really indicate that it's good or bad. But when other pages link to the page, passing a little bit of authority to the page, that is an indication that the page is good, right? So it's so as soon as you finish publishing an article, if it's optimized for search, then go to another page on your website or find many other pages on your blog or anywhere that are relevant to that topic and link to the new page. Bottom line, you're not done publishing something new until you have linked to it from something old.
Oh, right. Okay. So relevant blog post or similar blog post on your own page really does matter that you link from them to your new content.
It does. And when you extend that out and get a bit more advanced with it, what you end up realizing is that we should all be publishing little groups of content. Don't just publish one thing here and one thing there. If I'm publishing an article about if I want to rank for which dog bites the most, that's probably part of a little family of interdependent content about dog training tips, and part of that family of content is about how to stop your dog from biting, and that article links to a dog about which dogs bite the most. So you get the idea. It's we should be creating hubs of content that are all closely related. It gives you more interlinking opportunities.
Now, you've done your keyword research, included the right elements, and published your content. Are you done? Was that it? What should you do after? Hear Andy's answer. Am I finished doing SEO?
Well, if it didn't, so then you'll find out. Basically, like 3 days later or a week later, it ranks or it doesn't. So if it doesn't rank, mostly we have, it might just mean the job isn't done. Because as the name suggests, search engine optimization, it's an ongoing process. This is not a one-time action, right? This is not like a post and pray, and sometimes it works. So if I publish something and it's maybe not super easy to rank for, maybe it's in a kind of a competitive range that's tough for my site, the domain authority or other sites is really very close to mine or a little bit above mine. There's another 50 great articles on this topic. It's very competitive. There's lots of great pages on this topic. So then what I'd normally do is get busy talking about this content in other places. So don't miss the opportunity to collaborate with another blogger, contribute quotes to other people's websites in the same way we should all invite others to contribute quotes to our content. I might write a guest post on the topic. Of course, sharing in social media goes without saying. That doesn't affect your search rankings directly, but social media is a good place to build relationships with other people who also create content, and may give you opportunities to write something about, dog training mistakes. So I make friends with other bloggers who write about pets, and one of them is looking for articles. I'm going to write an article, maybe from the negative angle. I like to do this, Julie. I write the evil twin.
Yeah.
Write the how-to article on your site, then write the evil twin on someone else's site, like the how not to.
Oh.
And that article, yeah. And so if you're another pet blogger, I'm going to offer you an article because we're good friends. I took my time to build a relationship with you. I'm not sending cold email. And you say, yeah, of course, I'd love that hilarious article with great examples about how not to train your dog. And that article might link back to my article about which dogs bite the most. So that makes a big difference because now I just got a link to my new page, and that's a little vote in the mind of Google that I have got a good page.
What on earth is semantic SEO? It's time to go pro in Andy's SEO school and learn how to rank for related topics or questions, and later get Andy's SEO goes and no-goes.
This is something that I think about a lot. We call it semantic SEO. So what we want to do actually is not just target the key phrase. Julie, this is fun because we're getting a little bit more advanced here. The best page on the internet for any topic, it's not really just targeting the specific key phrase. It should be targeting it should use at least or mention or cover all the related topics. So which dogs bite the most? If I search for that phrase, and then I scroll down to the bottom of page 1 in Google, I see that it says searches related to which dogs bite the most. And it includes words like breed, statistic, 2017, attack. Yeah. So if I'm trying to make the best page about which dogs bite the most, I probably should look for ways to include those words or those subtopics. That's going to spread my meaning out across the broader topic and not just the specific phrase. So that's a simple way to do semantic SEO. It's to target the topic, not just the key phrase, and look for all the little related words and phrases you can find, like I just found at the bottom of Google, and incorporate those into your article. It's actually going to make you a better writer.
Well, that's definitely a win-win then, isn't it?
Yeah, it's quality. It's making something great. So I'm not just trying to spam the internet with a bunch of, repeating the same word over and over. I'm truly going deep on the topic and finding all the related words and related subtopics to include in my article. Helps me go even deeper and make something that's truly high quality.
Yeah, so it is really possible to rank for more phrases than just one in one piece of content.
It's actually extremely common. If you look in Google Analytics under the acquisition, search console, landing pages report, that's going to show you all the pages on your site that rank in Google. Click on any of those pages on the landing pages report, and it will show you in the bottom right the number of phrases that page ranks for. It's usually hundreds or sometimes thousands. The average page that ranks in Google ranks for hundreds of phrases because people search for so many different slight variations on keywords and combinations of words and letters and plural forms and related grammatical forms. So it would be very weird if that page ranked for just one phrase. Normally it ranks for all the closely related topics.
Okay, would it then be worth it to go in and optimize for the related the related phrases as well?
It is, and it's very smart SEO to go back and see all the pages that are also driving traffic. You might want to include those in the topic or in the article or move those up to the front. But really, we do still have a primary key phrase because only one phrase can be the beginning of the title tag and in the headline. So we're still making a very tough choice about what to make the main key phrase for that page, and only one phrase can be that phrase.
All right, that's really interesting. So that was really on the goes and what to do. What about the no-goes? So what shouldn't you under no circumstance do? And what will send you to that feared page 2 on Google?
One of the biggest mistakes we already talked about, which is targeting phrases for which we have no chance of ranking. All of the high-ranking pages for that phrase are very famous, so there's just no way that you have a chance of ranking for it. Also, keyword stuffing. People that just use the phrase 22 times, like it just doesn't make sense. Like it's bad for readers.
Yeah.
Anything that you do that's purely for search engines and with no consideration for humans, you're probably spamming. So I would caution you against doing anything that doesn't take a reader into account. Yeah. Also, of course, Google's spam guidelines. I mean, if you're buying links from people, that's the definition of spam. If you're trying to manipulate Google search rankings through anything that's unrelated to quality, these are the problems and the reasons why people get penalized. And honestly, people who just don't sleep well at night. I mean, even if you don't get penalized, you're going to be paranoid forever, thinking Google's going to figure out how you cheated. Don't do anything that if anything you do in your marketing makes you want to take a shower after work, like because you just felt dirty that you did that, you're not going to respect yourself. Like you didn't. I hope that people, put the visitor first. We're trying to be useful. We are literally trying to help people by making something that is extraordinarily helpful. That's our goal.
Perfect. Will that then now? Because I was just going to finish off by asking you for your favorite SEO advice. Was that the one?
You know what? The first thing. No. I think that my favorite thing is the very first thing we said, which is to ask that question. People who are looking for me are searching for what? It's amazing how people just really need to be reminded of that. There's someone trying to find you now. The key is empathy. Empathy will win. So it's called the 0 moment of truth. There's people as we speak, as we're speaking right now, or as the listeners are tuning into this show, their fingers are about to touch the keyboard and they're about to start looking for you. Thinking deeply about who they are, what they care about. What is the information in your head that they're trying to discover, right? What do they need? I find that endlessly interesting. It's a job that's never done. My best SEO advice is empathy and to work very hard to deeply understand the information needs of your audience.
Wow, great stuff, Andy. So thank you so much for your time. That was amazing. I hope you enjoyed it too.
Thanks for having me.
No problem. That was all, folks. If you enjoy this podcast, I'll be absolutely thrilled if you could rate it in whatever app you get your podcast from. And also, if you're craving more e-commerce tips, simply hit subscribe so you don't miss out on our next episode. See you next time.
This session of E-Commerce Boost was produced by Sleeknote. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on tactics and strategies that'll help boost your e-commerce.